Imagine living in a world with no countries, no empires, no global trade, only small cities fighting endlessly over land, water, and survival. Now imagine one man changing all of that forever. A ruler so powerful that thousands of years later people still feared his name. This is the story of Sargon of Akkad, the man who may have built the first true empire in human history, and the civilization that rose from the dust of Mesopotamia, only to collapse under the weight of its own power. Watch until the end. When people hear the word Baghdad, they often think of war, invasion, and destruction. But long before modern Iraq existed, these lands were home to something far older, far more important, the birthplace of civilization itself. Deep in the deserts of southern Mesopotamia, strange hills rise from the earth. At first glance they look natural, but they are not. They are the remains of ancient cities, buried beneath thousands of years of dust, ash, bones, and forgotten history. For centuries, the wind covered everything, until archaeologists arrived, and what they uncovered changed history forever. Because beneath those silent ruins stood the remains of Ur, one of the oldest and richest cities humanity had ever seen, a city of kings, priests, merchants, and unimaginable wealth. This was not a primitive world. This was a civilization. The people who lived here were called the Sumerians, and in only a few centuries, they transformed human history. They built massive cities surrounded by walls, created advanced irrigation systems, developed mathematics, astronomy, engineering, and perhaps most importantly, writing. At first, writing was simple, a way to track grain, animals, taxes, and trade. But over time, those symbols became stories, laws, history. Civilization could finally remember itself. And with growing food production came something humanity had never truly experienced before: surplus. For the first time, large numbers of people no longer needed to farm every day just to survive. Some became priests, others became craftsmen, merchants, soldiers, scholars. Human society was changing fast. But there was a problem. The richer these cities became, the more unequal they became. Power gathered in the hands of priests and elites, while ordinary people fell deeper into debt. Some were forced to sell their own children into slavery just to survive, and as always in history, when inequality grows too large, conflict follows. The Sumerian world was becoming unstable. City-states fought constantly, especially two rivals, Lagash and Umma. For generations they battled over land and water, until eventually, everything changed. A new ruler emerged. His name was Lugal-Zagesi, and unlike the kings before him, he didn't just want victory, he wanted domination. One by one, cities fell beneath his armies. For the first time in Mesopotamian history, someone was close to uniting the entire region. But fate had another plan. Because in the north, another figure was rising. A man whose origins remain mysterious even today. A man history would remember as Sargon. Nobody knows exactly where Sargon came from. Some legends claim he was abandoned as a baby and sent down a river in a basket. Others say he was simply an ambitious military leader who seized his chance. But one thing is certain, Sargon understood power better than anyone before him. He realized the old system was weak. The city-states were divided, corrupt, exhausted by endless wars, and he knew exactly what to do. Destroy the old order completely. Sargon marched against Lugal-Zagesi and crushed him, not only defeating him in battle, but humiliating him publicly. The defeated king was dragged through the streets in chains. It was more than a military victory. It was a message. The old world was over. A new age had begun. Sargon soon built something humanity had never truly seen before: an empire. Not just conquered cities, but centralized rule, a single government controlling vast territories, trade routes, taxes, armies, and administration. This changed history forever, because from that moment onward, every empire that came later would follow the same model. The Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Romans, all inherited something from Akkad. But Sargon didn't rule through force alone. He understood something deeper. Control the economy, and you control the empire. He placed loyal governors across conquered lands, seized temple wealth, controlled agriculture, taxation, trade routes, even language itself. He made Akkadian the official language of administration across the empire. For the first time, the millions of people were being connected through one political system, and the wealth flowing into Akkad was unimaginable. Ships arrived from the Persian Gulf. Caravans crossed deserts carrying timber, metals, precious stones, and luxury goods. Mesopotamia became the center of a gigantic trade network. The ancient world was becoming globalized. But there was a dark side to this power. As the empire expanded, the violence expanded with it. Rebellions were crushed brutally, cities destroyed, thousands killed, entire populations deported, because empires are expensive, and maintaining power always comes at a cost. Still, for decades the system worked. Sargon ruled for more than half a century, an almost unbelievable achievement for the ancient world, but no empire lasts forever. Eventually, Sargon died, and almost immediately, the empire began to shake. Revolts erupted across Mesopotamia. Successors fought for control. Kings declared themselves gods. Fear replaced stability, and while rulers competed for power, nature itself turned against them. Drought spread across the region. Agriculture weakened. Trade slowed. Food shortages appeared. The system that once created enormous wealth now became dangerously fragile. And then came invasion. From the mountains descended new enemies, the Gutians, as famine, rebellion, economic collapse, and war combined together. The Akkadian Empire finally broke apart. The first great empire in human history had fallen. But here's the fascinating part. Even after Akkad disappeared, its ideas survived. Centralized government, imperial rule, bureaucracy, propaganda, economic control, mass administration, even the idea of ruling many peoples under one system. All of it continued for thousands of years. In many ways, or the modern state itself, still carries the shadow of Akkad, because Sargon didn't just conquer cities. He changed the way humans organize power, forever. And maybe the biggest lesson is this. Civilizations often collapse for the same reason they rise. Power creates wealth. Wealth creates inequality. Inequality creates instability. And eventually, even the strongest empires begin to crack. The Akkadians learned that lesson over 4,000 years ago. The question is, have we learned it today? If you enjoyed this video and want more stories about empires, economics, collapse, and the hidden forces that shaped history, subscribe to Empire and Economy. Because history doesn't disappear, it repeats itself.